CATIA V5 Shape Sculptor rough offset. So we're going to take a look at this one. If I'm going to use the information, we're going to see that this will generate a rough offset of a mesh. The case study will be like this. So we have an horizontal plane with two extruded sides over here. Now, if I will go within the wireframe, we're going to see that the rough stock will have this amount of geometry. If you want to obtain additional information, we can use the information feature over here, and we're going to see the total number of points, in this case 481, and also the number of triangles, in this case 864. Now, when using the rough offset feature over here, we're going to see that we have a wide variety of options. So initially we have the offset distance. Keep in mind that this will work similar to an offset surface in generative shape design. The main difference is that this will also create a tessellated mesh behind that. So it won't be a NURBS like within generative shape design, it will be a mesh. For example, if I will use this as an offset of 3 millimeters, we can select the direction over here, which will be one side. And afterwards, we're going to select the mesh. We're going to have an arrow, a white arrow appearing. That will indicate the direction of the offset. If, for example, I will click apply like this with an offset of 3, we're going to see that within the interior, we're going to have that newly defined surface, and we're going to keep that 3 millimeter from the sides. Now, regarding the granularity, this will change the number of points and triangles of the newly created mesh. Since I'm currently within the shading with edges, I don't see anything, let's say, different. But if I will go to wireframe, we're going to see that the newly tessellated and offsetted mesh will be defined by a high amount of points. So within the product tree, we're going to see that the offset will be individually. And if I will go for this offset with the information, we're going to see that now we have a high amount of points. So we see 28,000 points that define that inner mesh. So keep in mind that the granularity will highly affect that. For example, if I will just hide that for now, and I will do another offset, and I will keep the granularity to 10 millimeters. So that will be mainly, let's say, the distance between two adjacent points. We're going to see how this will look in this case differently. We see that we have a rounded area over here. So if I will click OK, if I will go, I don't even need to enable wireframe. If I will just select that, we're going to see that triangulation. And we're going to see those triangles. Again, we have that 3 millimeter distance from the sides. So this will be towards a direction. Keep in mind that if you're going to increase the granularity, the mesh will have those rounded corners. So if you are familiar with Blender or other similar polygonal meshes, you know that you have to bevel those in order to keep those edges sharp. We can also go one side. So if I'm going to select this with one side, this will add the newly offset surface in the middle. And also, if you're going to go with a negative value, this will go and change the direction, as you can see over here, towards the outside. And the newly defined mesh will be positioned at the set distance. We can also go both sides. And if I'm going to click apply with this one, we're going to see that for both sides, you need a positive value. So I'm going to type in 3 over there. If I'm going to hit apply, we're going to have that added. As we can see, the newly defined mesh will also be merged. And if I will go within the wireframe, we're going to have that newly defined surface based on the granularity. If I will increase this, for example, to 10, we're going to see how those corners will be a little bit rounded. Now, you can use the rough offset with any feature. For example, the default part that we have over here, we see this a simple plane. That can easily be imported, for example, from Blender. I will create a plane over here. Press tab to go to edit mode. I will press 2 in order to go over here for edge selection. I can select those two edges. Press E for extrude, Z for the direction, and I can raise those. So this is, let's say, the shape that can be added as an STL, will be converted to triangles, and afterwards, for example, now if I will go and check the geometry of this part, we're going to see that we only have 3 faces, and we don't have that triangulated mesh over here. But we can also, for example, if I will add the monkey over here, I will have this save as a STL file. So I will call this monkey1, selected only to have it exported. Go back to CATIA and have that imported, which will be monkey1. I will scale this initially at 100%, and we're going to see that this will be that the rough size of the Blender monkey imported to CATIA. And if I will go to a rough offset of this one, for example, only on the outside, 3 millimeters with a granulation of 1, we're gonna have that offset surface. And we see how rough the edges are within the offset model, because the granulation was set to 1. If I will change to see the wireframe, we're gonna see that the mesh is quite dense. For example, if I will hide the offset, and we see that the monkey didn't have a rough mesh over there, but still within the granularity we're gonna have those rough edges. So you can also subdivide it within Blender. For example, with this monkey selected, I will press Ctrl N3. This will automatically apply subdivision level 3, and as we can see, those polygons will be quite small now. I have the possibility to apply that subdivision. You can also enable it over here. If you're going to type in subdivision, it will be subdivision surface. Now with this selected, I will have this exported again as an STL. I will call this monkey2, selected only, and I will have that imported. So let's take a look at how the subdivided monkey head will look. I will hide those two ones, and we see how smooth the shapes will be for this one, since this has a higher subdivision. If I will go with the information, we're gonna see that now we have 30,000 points defining this mesh. And if I will go and have this offsetted, for example, at 5, if I'm gonna keep the granulation set to 1, this will still be converted, and we'll have some of those rougher edges, but not so much as the previous one. So we have this offset. I'm just gonna change the color so that we can better visualize it. And we see the green one will be a lot rougher, but if we subdivide it before we have it imported in CATIA, we can obtain better results. Okay, so this was regarding a rough offset. I will position a similar video to the left. I will put this to the CATIA V5 tips and tricks, and I will also add a subscribe button. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video.